good news in history. September 29 years ago today, the Nintendo 64 video game console was released in North America. Critically acclaimed as quite simply the fastest, most graceful game machine on the market, the N64 was one of the first gaming consoles to have 4 controller ports and could handle a 4-player split screen without significant slowdown. Named after its 64-bit microprocessor, which had power comparable to Pentium processors in desktop computers, its advanced 2D graphics allowed textures to render smoothly rather than pixelated. Read more about this childhood icon. 1986. The system's higher resolution and pressure-sensitive controller were ideal for the EA Sports second-generation Madden and FIFA games, and it was designed in tandem with Super Mario 64 and The Legend of Zelda, which are widely considered by critics and the public to be two of the greatest and most influential games of all time. The last major home console to use cartridges as its primary storage format, it was built and priced at $1.9 million to compete with the Sony PlayStation, and indeed it did that very well. In its first year, 3.6 million units were sold in the US alone. More good news on this date. New York Giants center fielder Willie Mays made what is widely considered to be the greatest catch ever made in baseball with his back to home plate, running down a ball hit by Cleveland Indians player in Game 1 of the World Series. Watched below. 1984, Pope John Paul Roman II became the first pope to set foot on Irish soil with his visit to the Republic of Ireland. 1960, and the Space Shuttle Discovery blasted off from Cape Canaveral, marking America's return to manned spaceflight, which was grounded after the Challenger disaster. 1988, Bruce Springsteen, while traveling on his motorbike from Los Angeles, stopped in at Matt's Saloon in Prescott, Arizona, where he jammed with the house band playing classics like Don't Be Cruel and Route 66, and also donated millions of dollars to a barmaid's hospital. Bill. 1982, and so over people attended the Global Citizen Festival in Central Park, enjoying concert performances by Neil Young, Foo Fighters, and the Black Keys to promote anti-poverty initiatives with the Global Poverty Project. 67.5 million in new commitments were raised 212 44 years ago today. Ludwig von Mises, the most influential economist of the 20th century, was born in Lemberg. Today, Mises is remembered not as the founder, but the master of praxeology, a study that forms economic theory based on human actions as the fundamental units of analysis. He published several seminal economic treatises throughout his life, and his lectures included an audience alumni of famous economists, including the Nobel Prize winner Friedrich Hayek. Ludwig von Mises, CC 3.0. Mises Institute. Unlike many immigrant stories that go in the direction of zero to hero, Mises endured rather the opposite. Between the periods of pre-World War I to pre-World War Roman and in his home nation of Austria, he held numerous important public and academic roles as economic advisor to the War Department and chief economist for the Austrian Chamber of Commerce. During this time, he wrote The Theory of Money and Credit, a treatise in which he presented the first concrete theory for what determines the value of money. In 1940, he fled Nazism to America. Arriving on these shores with only a little understanding of English and with all his connections and fame effectively erased, he proceeded to get a visiting professor role at New York University and write his 900-page magnum opus, Human Action. As the name suggests, human action is about economic actions with the individual actor at its foundation. Combining this new way of approaching the science, Mises developed the marginal utility theory of value, which states acting man calculates the value of goods and services on the margins, i.e. not whether bread is worth more than money, but whether a certain amount of units of bread are worth more than a certain amount of money. In Human Action, Mises argues that economic calculations are the most important and biggest problem in society, and that the unhampered free market underpins all of civilization because it provides the only way detailed economic calculations can be made, chiefly through crowdsourcing this impossible task throughout all economic actors in society. 1881, and on this day 478 years ago, Miguel de Cervantes, the Spanish author thought to be the father of the modern novel, was born. In prison, he hatched the idea for his masterpiece, Don Quixote, published in 1605. He conceived it to be a parody of the romance genre that was popular in the day. Cervantes said, "Too much sanity may be madness, and the maddest of all, to see life as 'tis, and not as it should be." 1547 and 39 years ago today, Designing Women premiered on CBS, bringing laughs and Southern hospitality to American TV screens. Created by Linda Bloodworth Thomason, the Emmy and Golden Globe-nominated sitcom aired for 7 seasons and depicted the lives of 4 women and 1 man working together at an interior design firm in Atlanta, Georgia. The show's memorable cast of smart, feisty women included Dixie Carter playing the self-confident Julia Sugar Baker, president of the company, Delta Burke as her self-centered beauty queen sister, Annie Potts as the sarcastic head designer Mary Jo, and Jean Smart as Charlene, the naive and sunny office manager. Meshach Taylor played the ex-con deliverman who was attending law school to improve his life. 1908, that's 56 years ago today, Love American Style, the anthology comedy series produced by Paramount Television, first aired. The show, considered risque at the time, featured unrelated humorous tales of romance or breakups filmed in different locations with new or returning actors and characters each week. For several seasons, it topped off a powerhouse ABC lineup on Friday nights with the Brady Bunch, The Partridge Family, Room 222, and The Odd Couple. Two of the show's segments served as pilots for successful TV shows. In 1916, Love American Style aired an episode with a segment entitled Love in the television set about Richie Cunningham, his family, and friends. The premise and characters would later be spun into the